they were carried out by the group that you were with is hard for people to believe. Would you like to offer an apology to those people who were deeply hurt by what you said?
Of course, I am completely sorry for anyone who has been affected by ISIS. You know, I in no way agree with what they did. I'm not trying to justify what they did. It's not justifiable to kill innocent people in the name of religion. And I just want to apologize.
One of the reasons that you were stripped of your British citizenship, I would imagine, was partly because of the tone that you adopted and the things that you said in those first interviews with the press and then on camera. But it's also because British intelligence presented evidence to the authorities here that said that you were very directly involved in terrorist activity. They didn't allege that you actually carried out bombings or attacks, but they did, for example, say that on a number of occasions you would personally stitch a suicide bomber into his suicide vest, into his suicide belt. You would prepare them for a terrorist attack. You were a very active part of an act of terrorism. Did you?
No, I did not. And I am willing to go to court and face the people who are making these claims and refute these claims, because I know that I did not do anything in ISIS apart from be a mother and a wife. And these claims, I think, are just being made to make me look worse, because the government don't actually have anything on me.
You mean there's no evidence, you're saying, that you did these things?
There's no evidence because nothing ever happened.
Why did you stay so long? Once you got there and you began to realize what was really involved in joining ISIS, it wasn't just going there to produce babies and to live in a devout Islamic state, but it was actually part and parcel of one of the most brutal terrorist organizations this world has ever seen. Why did you stay? You had 3 children there.
Because it was not possible to leave at all. You know, you had to find connections, and even then those connections could be fake. They could just be ISIS police, you know, trying to find people who are trying to leave so that they can put them in prison. My husband, after he came out of prison, he was being watched very closely by ISIS. You know, he couldn't even use a phone. He couldn't even go to the internet cafe. So how could we find connections to even leave, you know? And you also had to have a lot of money, and we did not have any access to money to leave.
What would you say to people watching this who say, well, she would say all of this now because ISIS lost? After an extraordinary initial bout of success, ISIS was pushed back, hemmed in, and basically destroyed as a fighting force there. So you were on the losing side. And you would say all of this now because they lost. But if they hadn't, if they actually had established and kept a caliphate, as they describe it, you would have been a sort of queen bee, wouldn't you?
No, I would not have. If ISIS was still much in power, I may have still been stuck in ISIS, I will admit that, but not by choice, but by force, because lack of any other way of getting out, you know? If ISIS were to come back now, if they were to come to the gates right now and say, who wants to join us? And whoever doesn't join us, we'll kill them, I would rather die. I would rather die than go back to ISIS.
Well, indeed, the 2 girls that you left the UK with, your friends, they are dead. They were both killed in separate bombing incidents. You managed to survive, and you're talking to us now. We're going to have to take a break here. There's a lot more to ask you and put to you, Shamima, so you stay there. We'll ask the audience to stay with us, because we'll continue to speak with Shamima Begum after this very short break. You're watching Good Morning Britain on ITV.